So today I want to go over the email writing process that I use to write high converting emails in 10 to 15 minutes. And the reason I am sharing this today with you is that this method is a pure embodiment of marketing with ease. It was my source of inspiration to create this entire podcast in the first place. So before we get into it, I want to let you know there's no need to take notes if you're listening or watching today, because I have created a free cheat sheet for anyone who wants it, with a breakdown of my high converting email plus a 30-day plan to write your own emails and get results. And you can get it free of charge without having to give me your email address or phone number or any other shenanigans that you don't want to get into. All you need to do is follow the link in my show notes below, and this links to my Facebook Messenger. So just type in 30-day email and I'll send it over to you for free, no opt-in required. It's my gift to you for tuning into this podcast. And if you are watching from social media, so Facebook, Instagram, or anything like that, just write a comment below and I will reach out to you personally. Awesome? Got it? So let's get straight into it. If you want to build a sustainable business without compromising your values or your work-life balance, then come join me and my guests as we share insights and actionable advice that we've learned along the way as we build our business. This is the Ease Into Marketing podcast. Grab your drink of choice, cozy up, and let's get started. I cannot keep track of the number of times I start working with clients who are running a webinar or a free trial or offer a lead magnet of any kind, and then they only email the people who signed up, their new subscribers, like once or twice a month. What? They come to me and say, hey, I want to launch some ads and get people into this challenge or into this webinar, whatever they're running. And they say, hey, I want to launch my offer to them. And I say, okay, let's do that. So we launched to a cold audience. Some people sign up, they get some sales, sure, but then they go off on their own and they barely contact their list. And then the next time they launch, that list has gone completely cold. Those people don't remember who my client is. And so my client is starting from scratch every single time. However, when I started emailing my client subscribers on a regular basis in between launches, so like 3 to 5 times a week that we were sending emails, that's when sales really started skyrocketing. That's why I suggest that you do this too. No matter what you sell or how you get people on your email list, start emailing people at least 3 to 5 times a week to not only nurture your subscribers, but also to invite them to buy from you. Now, I get a lot of pushback on this. People will say, hey, but Charlene, won't people find me pushy or unsubscribe if I pitch that often? And that can be true if it's done the wrong way. So yeah, if you send super salesy emails every day and people don't get anything out of reading your emails, yeah, they will get sick of those emails, definitely. However, if you make your emails fun to read and tone down the salesy tactics, this works wonders, guys. It builds a relationship with your audience when they are finally ready to buy, which can take time, and then they'll be able to because you're telling them how they can buy without being pushy about it. So the other pushback that I get from people is, but Charlene, I don't have the time to write an email that often, like 3 to 5 times a week. That's insane. And I get that. So most of my clients, when they write their own emails, it can take up to an hour or even longer per email. But when you practice writing emails the way that I do it, you can get this down to 10 to 15 minutes per email. So here is how to do that. First, I make sure that I always have ideas for emails in the back of my pocket so that I'm not sitting there for, 5, 10, 20 minutes, an hour, like, okay, what am I going to write an email about today? I always have a list of ideas, both for myself and for my clients. So I'll share a few ideas of how to do this here, but I often share way more of these on my email list. So make sure you're subscribed if you want more ideas. So what I do is I'm going to go back and look through my communications with my clients so I can figure out, okay, what are some common roadblocks, questions that people have about my industry? And I can write an email about that. I'll also look through comments on my social media posts, see what people are talking about. And every time I have an idea about something to cover, even if it's a tiny little baby idea, that means nothing yet. Like it's not even a real idea. I write it down, even if it's just 2 words. Like, for example, let's say I wanted to write an email about what I'm telling you right now. I'd just write really fast emails. That's the idea. That's the topic. I just write it down in my app and then I tag it as email ideas for later. So when I'm sitting down to write an email, I can pull up my app. And by the way, I use Google Keep and I just pick any idea that I want to work on that day. Then I get to writing my email. And here is how these emails break down. I have the first sentence of my email that is a hook. So a hook is something that will get your subscribers to want to keep reading. It should pique their interest or give them a promise of value. So after your hook, you get right into the writing and there's no fancy formula to follow here. You just write what you have to say about that topic, just as if you were talking about the topic. That's simple. So the reason these are quick to write is because you're writing just as if you were talking to someone, as if you were talking to a friend, as if you were in line at the grocery store and somebody poked you on the back and said, hey, could you explain to me about this topic that you're really good at? So in fact, if you prefer to talk, you can record yourself speaking your email instead of writing it. And then use any free transcription tool. Google Docs even does this to transcribe your speech to text. So I know lots of people that think this way. They think better when they're talking out loud instead of writing. Personally, I'm the opposite. I think better by writing. This is why if you're watching this podcast as a video, you'll see my eyes like keep darting back to my screen because I wrote myself a script for this podcast. I am not a great speaker. I can't speak at the top of my head. I'm a much better writer. So whenever I make a video like this, I write everything down. I have no shame in admitting that because that is how my brain works. But if your brain works by thinking better, by speaking out loud, then do that. There's no rule that says that you have to write your email. Just speak it first and let AI create text for you. Then you can edit out the typos and stuff yourself. Or if you have an assistant, you can get them to do this. But just try to make it as easy as possible for you to get it done. So if you're sitting down at your desk and you are getting just blank screens and cannot get anything to flow from your brain, if you're trying to write, then don't write, speak. If you draw better, then draw it and get somebody to interpret it. So find the ways that your brain flows information. So once you are done writing or speaking the main content of the email, the next section of the email is the segue. So the segue is one sentence that pivots the topic of your email to let your reader know that, okay, so why should I care about this? Or how is this relevant to what you as the writer have to sell? And after your segue, you make a quick offer. So notice I said quick offer. Don't go get super salesy and write 10 paragraphs and 50 bullet points about why they should buy. Just keep it quick. You are not trying to convince them that they need to buy. Instead, you are telling them, hey, if you're ready, here's how you can do that. And remember that the job of the email is not to get the conversion. The job of the email is either to start a conversation with your subscriber or get them on a sales page. So this depends on how you sell your offers. If you sell your offers by speaking to people or getting on a phone call, then that's what you want them to do. If you sell your offers via a sales page, then the goal of your emails is to get people to click through. So what does this look like in practice? I'm going to read you an email that I wrote out loud so that you can get an idea. So here we go. A few weeks ago, I had a major panic attack in my car in the local pool's parking lot. That's the last thing I expected to happen after signing up my toddler for swimming lessons. I had great intentions. I signed him up at 5:30, which is before my partner finishes work. I thought I could do this on my own, but I have low tolerance for anxiety. It's been an issue ever since I was a kid. And having to handle the tantrums while getting in and out of the pool and managing his unholy excitement while we were in the pool, well, that was just a little too much for me that day. I struggled with guilt for a few days after canceling the rest of the classes because swimming lessons seem to be one of the obvious things that everyone says you should be doing. Hell, I myself was a swimming instructor for babies and toddlers back in my high school years. And I always thought that it was really an awesome experience that I knew I wanted to try with my own kids someday. But it's not for us. I'll go back with my partner on the weekends instead and teach him to swim myself. It's not because everyone says you should do something that it's automatically the best course of action for you or your business. For instance, many business coaches praise launching as the holy grail for high-ticket services, coaching, and courses. And hey, launching works for a ton of business owners. I've just found that the usual launch formula mindset isn't for me. If you've tried launching, failed, and wished there was a better alternative, maybe I can help. Hit reply and type in, help me with email, and I'll tell you more. That's the email. Then I conclude this email with my usual signature. So notice how conversational this email was. And notice how at the end, I give my subscribers a very simple call to action. Hit reply, and I'll tell you more. If they're not ready, that's okay. If they are, they know what to do. They'll initiate that conversation with me. And naturally, as people stay on your list longer and you read more of your emails, they will become more and more ready as you're nurturing them. So that is a 100-foot view of how I write my emails in 10 to 15 minutes. I encourage you to start doing this right away because it gets a lot easier over time. Practice makes better. And if you want to access a free cheat sheet with a breakdown of a high converting email plus a 30-day plan for you to write your own emails with topics and everything, look in the show notes and you'll see a link to my Facebook Messenger. So just send me a message that says 30-day email and I'll send it over to you for free. No opt-in required. It's my gift to you for tuning into this podcast. And if you are watching this on social media, just comment on this video. Just tell me 30-day email or I'm interested or just a raise my hand emoji and I will initiate a conversation with you. Nothing else needed on your part. So I hope to speak to you soon.